Alright, they went down the street and quit yelling. Stupid ass bums or whoever outside. Alright, so I think with all said and done, the safest thing to do is come on the outside. It's not the prettiest, but it's the best we can do. I don't know what else I can do besides that. I could go in here and weld this area all up, if the heads weren't polished. But when you do stuff like that, you run the risk of warping the head and other issues. But you can pull that thing up quite a bit if you did that. You can actually put a boss up here to build it up a little bit taller, which would be ideal. So the head, instead of being flat like this angle, it would be at the angle your compression release would be at. So basically you would weld it up to be like this thick over here. You put a bunch of metal right there before you put the compression release in it. And then you can just drill and tap it until you until you spot face it out. Then you put the hole through it and call it done. So that would be the best option. It would look the best. It'd be up nice and high. You'd be way up here on the top, which would look a lot better. And everything would be nicer. You would have the extra material on the combustion chamber side because you're coming up, 3/8 of an inch, 5/16 of an inch, something here. Plus you'd be up almost 3/8 inch higher. So you wouldn't have any problem with that hole going all the way down. You still would be close to your hole up in here, but we're fine because it already clears. You could use the tool over here, make it work. It'd be perfect. So I think that'd be the best option, is to weld this up. The problem is the customer already polished his head, so I gotta see what he wants to do. If he wants me to just do the drill and tap it and put it in like this, and modify the tool by shortening it down about 3/16 of an inch or an 1/8 inch, whatever I can get away with. And then I can do that. The problem is when you do this, you have to hand sharpen this, and if it drills slightly oversized, then your tap drill is too big, and you cut your threads out. So you got to try to make sure this is as close to straight as you can when you grind it. So I don't like playing with that too much like that, but you have to do that. The other thing is I can send this out and have it recut, resharpened by somebody and do it correctly and move it down like it should be. I'd have to send out to get that done. That'd probably take a week or two to do and more time frame. So that's the other option. So I can either hand grind it and do it, put a boss up here and then don't worry about it, or I can send out and have it fixed. The least option I want is to drill it further in. I think that's pretty well dead. So these are all things we got to figure out. So I'm going to get a hold of the customer, see what he wants to do on this one. If he wants me to weld the boss right there, I'll put the boss in there, clean up really nice, and I can possibly even get it repolished here locally and get it done quickly for him and do it that way. The welding would discolor the area around here a little bit, but it shouldn't affect the rest of the head. So anyway, I think that'd be the best option. I do a lot of welding, so it's no big deal. See, I do welding. We can weld. So you just build a boss up on there however you want it to be. Kind of like what I did in here. See, that's a weld where I filled up a compression release hole. The hole's about this deep. So, you can go in there, put a nice, good weld in there like that, or like I did the valve guides, and, whatever. I do welding. You make a boss and play around with it. That'd be a modified head there. And I think that'll be the best of both worlds. It would look nice and clean. We'd have room for our head bolt here, in here, because the compression release would be, what do I do with the compression release? I've lost it. There it is. Compression release would be right out here on the edge. It'll be up here, because I have a boss right here. So it'd be sitting up high enough that it wouldn't matter. You have access to a bolt. Even if it overlapped just a little bit, it wouldn't matter. You can go ahead and pull it out. So I think it does overlap a little bit. Yeah, see, it does overlap. But if you're up high, the socket will be above, the socket will be above the surface. It wouldn't matter. But the socket would be sitting on like this, so it's not going to keep you from tightening your compression release up. So it doesn't affect anything. You're going to lose a small amount of holding power right here on the tip, but you're not losing that much. It's very, very little holding power. So that's not going to hurt the head any. But you'd have this right here. You basically have the compression release about like right in this area, I think. Yeah, they're almost flush, but not quite. So it'd be cut away to about here, probably about like right there. And then the spark plug would be coming out here like normal. So we just weld the boss right there, build it up. Shouldn't be a problem. I'd have to spot face it down until it cleaned, until I had a seat clearance around here where, you know, you have to have enough cleanup for this boss here to hit. That's all you need. So anyway, I think that's the best way of doing it, is to do the welding part. This tool's not made for twin cam, or I mean for Evo, it's made for twin cams. And these are the problems you run into when things are not made to do what you need to do. So you have to figure out what you're going to do to make them work. So there's your tool, goes in there like that. So there's where the hole is going to go. Right like that. You can see how it's going to overlap that slightly. But you can see how the compression seal would be right there on the edge. That's how much you're working to. As long as you got that washer right there, you're fine. Now there is some slack in this system here. See how it's a little loose? So if I purposely shove it over one way or the other, you can see how you gain a little extra clearance right here by doing that. So what I would do, I would push it in this direction here. So that would shove it more that way. The maximum offset, see I want to make sure I'm thicker here, under here also. So you're going to push on the 45-degree angle, so you're going to push it this way as you're drilling to get it started. And that'll give you a few thou extra clearance here and a few extra down in here just in case. Thickens it up a little bit. It's not going to make any difference coming out the other side, it doesn't matter. So, but anyway, that's kind of where I think we're at. So we should have a belt tip around here to use. So this is my welding area right here. Kind of where it's going to be at. Your washer. Now this washer is not quite the same size it's going to be, so inside a hole's about like that. So I would make a boss right like this. So you're going to come out a little bit past the edge of that hole. We're going to be about a third of the way in the spark plug hole. And we'll just make a nice boss, cut the hole, and then we come back and hand grind it a little bit to make it a little cleaner. That's what we need. And we have to raise it up the angle we need a little bit. I'll figure out what that angle is before I do it, but basically it's almost the same angle as a spark plug, I think, or it is the same angle. Actually more angle than a spark plug is, so the depth of the difference would be from here to there, so it's about a 1/4 inch difference. You have to weld a pretty good boss to bring it up. So that'd be pretty high up in the air. What I could do is I can go over there and probably fill this whole corner in and just angle it from, just weld it from here to here. Top of that fin to here, like that. Just fill it all in solid. Maybe a nice angle wedge coming down. It might look a little bit cleaner doing it that way than having just a boss with a hole back in here. Just do it like that. Some more welding, but yeah, it would be. It's all thick in here anyway. See, these ones are cut out more than these ones are. These are early castings or later castings. They're a little thicker, but if I come in at that angle, like from this top of that fin down, I think we'd be pretty close to what we needed. I just go like that with my straight edge, and I can go, I'll just weld it up to that height right there, and we'll grind off what we don't need after we're done. So that'd be a good judgment tool I can do by and back with by welding. You know, it's always nice to have a nice sight line to see what you're going to weld to. You know, like I could either fill that in back there, or I can just make a round circle and just come straight up. It'll look better probably. Blend that all in and just come straight out at an angle, but who knows? We'll see. So anyway, I think that's probably the best option there, is to do it that way. But like I said, if you don't want to do that, we'll just make it cut like that, and it'll be thin on the other side. And I'd have to cut my tool, which I don't really want to do, but you know, it's very critical that you have the correct tap drill size, otherwise you don't have as much threads as you need to hold it in there. So it's not the best option doing it that way, but there you go. Unless I got time to have it done correctly, then it doesn't matter. All right, well there's our problem for today. Yeah, we'll see what we wind up with. Either way, we gotta do these polished heads here this week somehow. So, all right, we'll figure it out. We'll be back.